Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, March 12th, 2 p.m. here in the Gala Meeting Room of Foxboro Town Hall. This is the Capital Improvement Planning Committee meeting. It is being broadcast live and recorded on Foxboro Cable Access. We have all members here except Mike Brown. Hopefully he'll be joining us. So the purpose of today is to take care of a few matters, first of which is to approve the meeting minutes from March 2nd, 2024. Anybody have any comments on those?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you. So we are going to look at FY24 CIP projects. These were deferred. Marie, correct me if I'm wrong, but these were ones that were put off last year for consideration, I think at a fall town meeting, but we didn't have one in which we could act on financial matters, so it's been deferred till this town meeting. So we do have a review, and the first item up for bid is a police department request from Chief Grace for a prisoner transport van.
Good afternoon, everybody. I believe this might have been already approved, and we just recapping the presentation, or I do want to make one quick little amendment, if that's possible, if the powers to be allow it, is obviously the transport van that we have right now is a 2012. It's rusting out. The mechanics have said it's had enough. It doesn't meet our transport policy for transporting custodies. I think I'm pretty comfortable saying that the police department needs a transport van, considering we have a stadium in town. And this proposal for the transport van comes off the state bid list. It's in, and all those numbers and documentation has been submitted. The only change is that when we did the proposal, we reached out to Norfolk County Sheriff's Department to find out what software they were using to record the prisoners, because it's critical for transport. And that is before we had the body-worn camera program. We have learned now that our body-worn camera program through Axon also offers vehicle transport capability. And I'd like to keep all of the custodies on one platform. That way, when we have to do a redaction or a public records request or a discovery for court, all of the software, all of the interchange between the courts, the police department, and of course the redaction software would all be consistent. That is, we had originally budgeted $3,800, but it's $18,000 for that program. That consists of 4 cameras and a dash camera. That's part of the program. It's a package that they sell. So if there are funds available, if it's able to be funded, I would ask that to be added.
So
It'd be $15,000 because there's already $3,800 accounted for.
should be looking at 106 and change.
Correct. And believe it or not, I still have that vehicle on hold, and I actually can still get it. I've been stringing them along for about
Now, I
7.
wasn't here for this initial discussion. So this prisoner transport van, do we use this for anything in day-to-day operations?
I hope not, but
Okay.
primarily it's used for all our stadium events
Okay,
as one of our transport. If we have low custodies, I would prefer the Foxboro police officers assigned to it to do the transports. Just an easier transition, but as the arrest numbers go up, then we utilize our teams from the sheriffs. But yes, it's primarily used for Gillette Stadium.
What's the capacity of the van?
These are, would be like on about 8.
8.
But even then, with the way we transport people, depending on the nature of the arrest, sometimes we have to separate these people if we have to get statements, so we don't, if they're combative. This allows for male and female transports in the same vehicle. It separates them as well.
and this is something that Gillette Stadium doesn't provide. The town is on the hook for over $100,000 for a van.
My job's to tell you what I need. don't ask private entities for money or revenue. I just bring it to this board for funding.
Marie, what's the impact of the extra 15,000?
So, if y'all recall, at the Saturday meeting, there was $3 million available from free cash. We used a little bit less than that. I want to say, do you have the exact amount?
Wasn't it like 154,000 or something that was deferred from that?
There was. $2,919,446. So there is enough free cash remaining to cover the additional 14,200.
And was the van approved at that meeting? No.
I think the concept was approved, but not the funding. I think that's why we came back to the meeting to approve the actual funding. The only new one out of this list is the bus replacement. So that the bus replacement was a fiscal year 25 request, which was shifted now to 24. But all of the other ones were presented about a year ago. And like Paige mentioned, it was deferred to the fall, but we never had a subsequent town meeting. Now we're going back and, having you as a committee approve the projects and the funding.
Okay, any other comments or concerns? Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll move them.
Do we want to hear all of them and just make one motion at the end?
Sure, does it matter?
Okay.
Generally, what
That's
we've
how-
done is,
okay.
we'll hear all the proposals and then approve the requests as a lump.
Okay,
Thank you for your
all
time.
right, thank you. So now we're on to schools, copiers, music department, and bus replacement.
So basically on the copiers, we deferred half of the original request. We have used, obviously, that half already. We are moving towards something which I said as far as next year's CIP, and so this is kind of critical that we make sure we get this in place, is that we are working towards eliminating printers throughout our buildings. Pretty significant cost on maintaining the printers, number one. The toner is getting ridiculous to find, and it really is much, much cheaper to run it off the copiers. Unfortunately, you have to keep the copier fleet up to make sure that that's going to work. And all the copiers now that we're buying have the ability to code. So you can send 10 projects to the printer, and until you come with your code, none of them print. So it doesn't just waste paper and people forget that they did something. So again, we would be buying these with that too. So this would give us the last two of what we were looking for from last year to keep that program going. The music, we had a 3-year program going. Basically, last year was supposed to be about $50,000. It was the last year that we were going to be doing this. It was a full replacement of basically all of our major components, which were 20-plus years old, some 25 and close to 30. We did obviously the highest priority in year 1, second in year 2, and so we've done the 25,000 that we were given. Those are ordered, and we're waiting for those to come in. And the other 25,000 will finish it off. Part of that is not just instruments, but there is on our stage, it's called a classic shell. Basically, it's what makes the music move forward. It's a kind of acoustical thing. So when we did the original thing, we had this as a component to it. We also had risers within the band room. We did the risers in the original thing because they were a safety concern. We put these off to the end. So it's 4 musical instruments, that make up about 25,000 of it, and about 23,000 of it is these acoustical shells that haven't been replaced at least in 20 years, maybe 25 years. So, and that will basically take the high school and middle school music program up to, full snuff as far as equipment. And again, we get, we send out the equipment to be serviced every year because obviously kids take this stuff home and are using it. The kids are very good with musical equipment. This is not like our computers. The kids really do respect this equipment because it's theirs to use during the year, and they're very good with it. But you still do major tune-ups on some of the bigger pieces, minor tune-ups on others, and replacement parts on things. And as I said, the last round, which was done years and years and years ago, lasted well over 20 years. So I wouldn't anticipate that there would be any real major needs coming back from the music program for many years to come. So the third one was the addition of the bus. Now it's for FY25. We originally requested 3. We dropped it to 2, and we're requesting to split the 2, 1 into FY24, 1 into FY25, only because a bus is available today. When they ordered our 4 that we ordered last year, which caught us up, they actually ordered a 5th, the vendor that we deal with, who is under a state bidding contract that we use. And our spec is a little different than other people's specs because we have undercarriage boxes and stuff for blocks and things like that a lot of the other carriers don't do. We have some interior storage things that are a little bit different. And they thought, I think because of conversations with maintenance, that we were going to order 5 last year. And honestly, we would have ordered 5, but we knew we didn't have money for 5, so that's why we did the 4. But the fact that this bus is still there, to me, everybody's going to be putting in their order shortly. You can't get the gas engines, and this is one of the last of the gas engines that we purchased recently. So really would like to just snap it before anybody else gets a chance to get to it on a regular CIP process. So that's why I'm asking it just to move forward to FY24. It's the same thing if we had done it in FY25. It's just it gives us the ability literally right after town meeting to sign the deal and get it going. So otherwise we have to wait till July 1st.
That's
So.
right. Okay. Anybody have any questions on this? Concerns?
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Hey, Chris, do you want to speak to DPW?
Yep. So we have 4 things. We've got a 1-ton dump truck for Tree and Park. This is an addition to the fleet operationally. When we put a box, a chipper box on the 1-ton dump truck we have, it kind of limits that use. So operationally, having a second dump truck for Tree and Park at this size is an operational need for them. So it's an addition to the fleet. So that we've got quoted at $125,000. We also have another, actually it's just a pickup truck for equipment maintenance, vehicle maintenance. So right now, vehicle maintenance has 2 trucks for 4 mechanics. So if at any point in time, 2 of them are in use, they're left with nothing. So you don't have a 3rd truck for vehicle maintenance, so they can have tools on board. They can use it as transporting vehicles to and from the police station or responding to a breakdown somewhere outside of the garage. They can respond with that 3rd truck if needed. So this is just a pickup truck. So this is a $67,500 request for the pickup truck for vehicle maintenance. We also have a stump grinder. The stump grinder we have was purchased over 30 years ago as part of a collaborative with 10 other towns. Over the years, all but 3 have dropped off and moved to just purchase their own. This is something that, we take down anywhere from 50 to 100 trees every year along the edge of the road, and to be able to grind those stumps down is important for the residents to get rid of those. So this is something we're looking at, a $100,000 request to purchase our own stump grinder. Then we're no longer sharing one with these other towns. We'll have it when we want it versus waiting 2 or 3 months, depending on who has it and how much they're using it. So we're looking for a new stump grinder for $100,000. And then the last request we have is the roadway funding. So this is supplemental to our Chapter 90 and the fair share tax that came through. So this is a $350,000 request. We requested it, have it in there to either come out of the meals tax or free cash, not only for current fiscal year, but we've already been approved, or it's been recommended by this board to push that forward in FY '25 as well, and it is in the 5-year capital plan moving forward. So those, I believe, are the 4 requests that we have under DPW. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Great. Any questions, comments?
And I may be completely remembering this incorrectly, on the stump grinder, by not being part of that collaborative, again, did that provide you opportunities maybe to then use it and be almost a revenue source if you needed to for other towns too? Or is it just to be used?
No,
for
we
Foxborough?
were just planning to use it in Foxborough.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what happens is we every time we pick it up and bring it back to Foxborough, we end up having to fix it. So whether that's replacing the teeth on it, or, you know, like I said, the thing, it's 30 years old right now. Each town claims they do maintenance on it every time they get it, and it's just this vicious circle of who knows who's actually doing repairs on it. So this would just give us more control, and it would allow us to have it when we want it. So right now, you know, we're in tree removal season. You know, we now have probably 50 stumps that are out there ready to be ground, but Medfield has it. So we may get it in, you know, May, when we're in grass season, and not have time to do it at that point in time. So if we can follow right behind the tree crew as they remove trees, and just remove the stumps and grind the stumps, it's just a better operation for us.
Like that great big one out front?
Like the great big one out front.
Who owns the current?
So it's co-owned. I think I'd have to look at the title to see who actually has it in their title, but like I said, when it was first bought, it was probably a $30,000 piece of equipment, and each town put in $33,000 for it. And I remember I was working in Westwood. Westwood was part of that group, and this was 12 years ago. It needed $5,000 worth of repairs, and I made calls to all other 9 towns, including Foxboro, and, you know, there were 3 or 4 towns, and that was it. Nobody else wanted in on it anymore. So it's slowly dwindled. They've gone to other types of machines, other grinders, or they've just hired it out, which again, operationally just doesn't work for us. So.
Chris, just a quick question. So you had, for the 1-ton dump truck, you said it was 125?
Yes.
And then the pickup truck, 67.5?
Yes.
Okay. So that, with those two, because we had a little more, a little more in there. But after revising those two and then the prisoner transport van, bottom line, you're looking at $919,402.
919,402?
Yep.
Okay, so any further discussion, or we want to move forward? And I'll take a motion to approve the capital expenditures as discussed and amended for a total of $919,402.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Let's see, anything more, Marie? Let me see, where's my agenda here? Deliberation, recommendations, spending. That's it, we're good. All right.
We're all
I have a
set.
motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.